Time for episode 3 right now. Well, here we are. It's shaping up to be a lovely day here in Nashua, in the high 70s or 80s. It's a different story down in Goose Bay, where it's in the 30s and snowing, but that's part of the adventure. Bring it on. Off we go, through the fog. Should only be a couple of 100 feet up, so we should get through it quite quickly. Above the clouds. We're now en route to the first stop on our North Atlantic ferry route, Goose Bay in Newfoundland. But while we cover the distance, it gives Jim an opportunity to make some important preparations and get the Star Sapphire equipment ready for action.
And I took the lat long coordinates along with the elevation off from Google Earth, and then I loaded them. I'm going to preload them into the 380 system, so that way we can call them up later when we get to where we're going to go and we want to take some footage of those areas. So there's a targets menu in the Star Sapphire. I'll call up the targets that I put in and select it, and then have the camera just automatically point to it, geo-point to it, and it'll slew right to that target.
So here we are at Goose Bay in Canada. Not too much snow on the ground, no sign of those fabled snow mountains, but it is May, I suppose. I see a snow mountain. Not so much a mountain, more of a hillock. Okay, so here we are on the ground in Goose Bay. My word, it's a lot colder. There's a couple of snow mountains over there that Ethan had told me about, and we're just refueling here before getting under the way to Greenland. The cloud base is pretty low, so we didn't manage to get any Star Sapphire shots, but to be honest, there's not an awful lot here to see apart from some snow ploughs and a massive long runway. Apparently the runway is so long that it was an official contingency runway for the space shuttle program before it was decommissioned.
And welcome back to the live show here at Paris. I've been joined. Regular viewers will recognise this man. It is our regular feature, the weather with Goobs. Ladies and gentlemen, do not adjust your set. This stripe affair is actually happening. This is correct.
Well, today, actually, we did have some weather, which I enjoyed very much. We had very strong lightning and, well, thunder, I think you actually say in this language. And very, very heavy rain. You could not see from our chalet the Ariane rocket, which is about, I would say, 500 meters, maybe 600-700 meters away from here. You could barely see that through the rain. That just shows how much the visibility has come down. And beautiful lightning. I love that weather because something is happening. You know, I come from the north, and I think the blue sky is pretty boring unless you're on a beach.
I think you're right. I mean, it was absolutely stunning, actually. I mean, it did have everyone stopped looking almost like an air show itself. Would that have been much fun to fly through?
Well, I wouldn't have thought so, but some helicopter pilot showed off his skill because he flew right through it.
So, yes, no, I saw that. It was quite impressive. But I mean, visibility-wise, that would have been appalling, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, they came down in the end, and I mean, where they should be, but fine. So. But now the weather is very good. I mean, we have, again, there's no significant cloud, a little bit broken at 7,000 feet. Visibility is more than 10 kilometers, so the pilots can see very well, and we too, us, the viewers. And there's very light wind from the east. It's a bit variable. But so far for the air show, for the flying display, it looks very good. Unfortunately, though, I was meant to fly on the DC-3 this afternoon.
You were going up in the DC-3 Dakota, yeah?
that's a typical mistake you get from a lot of aviation writers from the media who don't actually have a clue about it. You never ever have a DC-3 Dakota. It's either DC-3 or a C-47 or 46, 47 Dakota, yeah, the military version. Never the two together.
I mean, so that's an ultimate schoolboy error. So kind of.
Well, you know, you just figure out that which one of the journalists know what they're writing about and which don't. Anyway, move on.
And should a journalist here on the premises, for example, describe one as DC-3 Dakota, maybe in casual conversation or in his copy, what should be done with them? Should they be removed?
Never ask a German about what you should be doing publicly with people who do deadly mistakes. I think they... well, anyway, I was forecasting over the last couple of days that there would be storm in the evenings, you know, and again the forecast says so. And last night I walked through Paris and people were sitting on the streets on the balmy evening with their beers and everything, no storm whatsoever. Take a brolly though, take a brolly with you. Apparently the reason why this Dakota flight has been cancelled is there is a second, much bigger area of thunder coming in this afternoon.
And you are a trained meteorologist, aren't you?
Of course.
Yeah, I was just checking.
Yes.
But I couldn't help noticing that the weather didn't necessarily drastically improve last night. You know, there was that we were expecting this weather. I had myself.
It's all about probabilities. You see, I said there would be a storm at 30% probability, and I was, what is it, 70% wrong? Anyway.
Good stuff. Well, I can't let you go without asking you, Mr. Goobs, should anyone be on if you could select your either your perfect pilot or a celebrity pilot or a cabin crew perhaps, or maybe a check-in stuff, baggage, ground handling. Does anyone spring to mind who you'd like to see?
Oh, sure, yes. I'll probably do a piece here of self-promotion just to have my salary in mind and promote our own brand. I would love to be on a flight that's captained by our commentator from Farnborough, Christopher Oliver. He used to fly Concords for British Airways up until the mid-80s, and a friend of mine used to work as a cabin crew on Concorde at that time. He said he loved to fly with Christopher Oliver, not because of his flying skills, which purely because of his public address, because he has such a gentlemanly and kind way, such a beautiful way of talking. Unlike me, he speaks without any hesitation, very beautiful. And the co-pilot, and here comes the bit of self-promotion, should be no other than Professor Dr. David Learmount, to make the whole thing a bombastic experience, you know. I'm not sure who we should have as flight engineer, but the other two would work together, I think, for me.
I have to say, there's an absolute dream team. The weather with Goobs, very, very special. Thank you. And Michael will be back across the week. What remains of it, and we'll also be talking to him about some of his day job. Now, don't forget to get in contact with us if you want to deliver your own flight crew suggestions.
Well, we've got a
way
few.
to get at us, hashtag fantasy crew. That's the hashtag we're using for this one. You've heard our suggestions. I think it's going to go some way to top. I love the idea, that kind of, I hadn't thought about that, but dream team sort of combos.
Yeah.
Sort of,
It's got me thinking.
a kind of, I'm liking the idea of Morecambe and Wise in the, maybe doing the dinner service both themselves. Rather like they did with the old striptease music, and Eric doing the, so, you know, if you ask for the old cocktails or something, he's chucking it up with.
Well, already the partnerships are springing to mind. R2D2, flight engineer. C3PO, chief steward.
Do you know, that is it? That's
Have you got your seatbelt on, sir? Anyway,
so
we've got some.
The way you can get in contact with us on this is through. So you can get us through the. They're on the screen, so you can get maybe on if you're watching the Ustream. From the Ustream coverage, just get in contact underneath that, or Twitter at at Paz_live, and
Well,
and on the email, webmaster.
Webmaster at flightglobal.com if you're an email kind of person. Now we have been getting some in, Graham. I've
Fabulous.
got the latest list here, and we've got Gian Fernando Cabal. Hello, Flight Global again. Welcome back from Milan. We have got Milan marked just up there. So Gian Fernando says, my hash fantasy crew is Katy Perry.
Katy Perry.
Who's yours? Well, we've been giving us Katy Perry. In what capacity?
Katy Perry. Yeah, I don't. I'm assuming, and I am second guessing here, but that he's not picked Katy Perry for her handling of
cool and composed
piloting
flight skills. Yeah,
and it might be more for other reasons. Michael, it's just cut off a bit. Michael G. It looks from here like it's Michael GE Euro symbol, but that seems very unlikely. But it's Michael. Apologies for this. We can get it all. You contacted us via Ustream. Stewardess Bear Grylls. Would you like peppered beetles or the steamed grubs?
Now, for those of you who don't know who Bear Grylls is, he does his survival programs, like how to subsist from the land, by chewing on bark and drinking, kind of badger's sweat or something like that.
And that's perfect, actually, from the airline perspective. That's almost ideal because you can load up with full catering gear on the way up, a full dinner service, and then you don't have to worry about having something for the return flight. You just set Bear out, and I'll bring some stuff up. I'll get something from the airport, and pretty much load up from there.
Pick the bugs off the windscreens. A Jamal 51, welcome back again. Oh, he's being very kind. He's very, very, very kind. I think he might be trying to butter us up here. He says, "You two guys as my pilots, and Messi as my flight attendant." Messi.
Messi. Now that is impressive.
Footballer of the year.
Yeah.
And we've got one more. Where in the world here? Oh, we've got two more actually. We've got.
I think we've had Dawn before. I think the.
Spodix.
Oh yes.
It's a tough one. Spodix. I'm sure that's how it's pronounced. Hi, FG, joining from Bangalore in India.
Fabulous.
Another.
Yeah, so
from Bangalore.
Bangalore's got a few here. We're going. Today's members joining the board are in the blue, and you can see the strictly enforced colour coding that we've been applied.
Excellent. So keep those coming in. They're fantastic. Really enjoying that one today.
So remember to contact us at that. Remember for the. For one of our fantastic prizes, the 787 model. Today's the last day to register in the FG Club. So in order to win that model, very generously provided by Boeing 787, and we were showing it to you earlier, it's a glorious thing. You have to register, sign in for the FG Club to watch the live stream, and that's it.
That's it. Interesting hearing about Goobs and his DC-3 Dakotas, I think.
I think he was the
DC-3
Dakota.
That's how it's called, yeah. I'm sure that's how it is, yes. Actually, it was reminding me of a conversation we're talking about flying through the rain and memorable flights and all that kind of stuff. So I was sharing a taxi with Greg Lund, who's the chief pilot for Fleur Systems yesterday. We were on the way back from the Achievement Awards. Flight Global Achievement Awards, and I mentioned that flight to Paris that I was doing. We were talking about it, and if you saw yesterday in episode 1, it was a bit of stormy weather that we flew through as well. And at one point there was just a tremendous heavy rain, beating on the cockpit, and I said, I felt a bit dodgy. I wonder what was going on. And in a very calm way that pilots do, he said actually heavy rain's quite good. Washes all the bugs off the windscreen and gives you a great sight, and actually the intakes into the engines, it cools them down, generally improves in performance slightly. I was like, all right, so perhaps Ethan was trying to fly through the rain.
I like the idea. Well, up above, I think we have the Nala has already just begun and kicked off its operations. Flying display we think is about to begin. It's always unclear, but we believe the Nala has now begun.
I did hear a buzz in the air. Oh yes, here it comes, Graham. Oh yes,
and it's flying over above us, and there we go. So there's a lot of highlights to look forward to in the flying display today. Obviously, that's the main bit of the really attractive part of this, and we do try and keep you up to date throughout with what's coming up. So we'll have the Pipistrel Virus.
Virus. And they do have another aircraft, of course, the Sinus. Or Sinus.
And that's followed by the Extreme.
And then the Antonov AN 158.
Yeah, AN 158, and that's the first time I think we've seen it.
I think I did see it in validation, but it'll be the first time on the live streaming.
Then we start with our first of our real heavy-duty ones, the Yak 130,
and
we're going to be promoting our wall of sound there.
It needs to beat 99.8 decibels.
Now, altogether, quite a affair after that, the A380, the largest of the commercial aircraft, and that was made a fantastic display. And with the clouds clearing here, I would be very confident we have if it looks anything like it did yesterday, that'd be brilliant. Followed by the A400M, so that's definitely worth hanging on to. And then a personal favourite of ours, the Fuga
Magister. Michael was a good one to ask about the Fuga. He knows a bit about that aircraft, and he was telling me that. I said, "Why is the Fuga? It's not a new aircraft, a 1950s jet trainer." I said, "Why is the Fuga in the flying display?" He said, "Oh, I think it is a hat tip to the Patrouille de France." Because that aircraft used to be used by the French display team. So I think it's one of those ones, for heritage and homage to l'histoire.
I'm impressed with your German accent in there.
Was it all right?
So,
it's always going out on a limb with the accents.
So at about 2:35, we're expecting the extra 300. 2:45, it's everyone's favourite, the Ziggy Starduster. And I think, various times we'll be cutting across so that you can see that. That'll be followed by the LH-10. And then at 3...
you missed off the Swift.
Oh, I missed off the Swift.
A little Swifty.
256, the 1A Swift. Then really want to keep your eyes peeled for 3:30. We're expecting the 787 that will be flying in Air India colours, followed by the Rafale.
Oh, yes.
And I think finishing with the Black Hawk, and so a corking little end to the end segment. So that, remember, 3:30 for the A380 and that end segment.
Yeah, that's right. And like previous days, so one or two of the Star aircraft that we haven't featured yet, we'll drag out one of our journalists and tear them away from the magazines and the websites that they're producing copy for, and ask them some really pertinent questions, some pithy questions about the aircraft and the program, and so we'll pick one or two out that we haven't featured yet.
And for those of you who enjoyed the sight yesterday, seeing grown men getting burnt live on screen and sweating out half their body weight, you'd be glad to know it is getting hotter here.
Yeah, that's it. So fans of that,
fans of that
will not be disappointed today.
So there's plenty to look forward to, bags of stuff to come, but for the next few minutes, just going to leave you with the pictures from the FLIR cameras.
Some amazing footage of the Extreme Air there doing its aerobatics, Graham.
Absolutely.
It's quite a
Oh wow!
quite a show.
Wasn't expecting that.
Breitling operated.
Don't know why I wasn't expecting it, because it is acrobatics. Oh, nice Twitter.
You're really seeing some great great images via the Flirstar Sapphire 380 HD here. That's a particular favourite manoeuvre of mine. That fella there. I'm assuming he intended to turn the engine off at that point. Ah, yes, good. So for some reason it's reminding me of my lunch.
Seeing your lunch coming back up.
Have you managed to grab any lunch yet?
I've not had a
Graham?
chance yet myself, but I believe you may have.
Well, I've got to use this opportunity to thank Dawn and her crew in the kitchen who are beavering away. We very nice brie and bacon baguette today and a packet of chicken crisps. Chicken flavoured. There's a big debate on whether chicken is
Well, is it actually
is a good flavour or bad flavour.
Oh, I've always been.
Where do you stand on that?
Well, I've always been a very big fan of chicken flavoured crisps. Actually, although I question whether they actually taste of chicken.
Well,
I'm not really sure chicken tastes of anything.
Well, I have that opinion with prawn cocktail crisps as well, which have no bearing on eating a prawn. Most people, I think, would not like fishy flavoured crisps.
It's not a natural home for the fish. What about the scampi fry?
Oh, scampi fry. Yeah, always questionable whether scampi fries actually tasted or smelled a bit like something else.
Unlike the bacon fry, which was always very good.
Now, I am with you on the frazzle kind of thing. But Stuart, Disco Stew, behind the scenes here, claims that bacon and chicken crisps are a non-crisp flavour. He would prefer.
No,
he would opt for cheese and onion.
He's got cheese and onion.
Cheese and onion, which I think. I mean, it's an anti-social crisp, the cheese and onion.
That onion breath.
Actually, talking of slightly unpleasant food, I don't want to offend anyone, but we have these trays of canapes for the in the Flight Global Chalet, and I was convinced to try something yesterday before the Achievement Awards. Canapé was okay, fine, and then it was like a modern day cheese and pineapple. It was skewered, but skewered on like a plastic pipette filled with something. And one of the ladies from marketing said, "Oh, you've got to squirt the pipette into your mouth." And all I can say is, I wish I hadn't. I wish I hadn't. Okay, that was great there. Great aerobatics just on display, and we might as well read out a couple more tweets.
Yes, we got Filipino.
Ah, very nice. Filipino. That's good.
Right, well, come back to it. So live. I'm watching live from Lisbon in Portugal. Another Lisbon. We have a lot of Lisbon. My fantasy crew, Rihanna and Britney Spears.
And then we're talking about aircraft crew here. So that's just.
I think in that case it really is the fantasy.
Yes.
The fantasy crew. The also we have
another tweet from Ghazan Farul Khan, Ace Pilot Khan. He says, Paz Live, on another note, I think Jeremy and Stig as pilots. I'm assuming Jeremy Clarkson. Richard and James's crew. So James May and Richard May. No, I can't be brothers.
Richard May and James May.
Richard and James May.
Richard Hammond and
Richard
James
Hammond.
May.
Yeah.
Top Gear crew. I think the Top Gear crew as the crew is quite good. I'm particularly liking the Stig. I think the Stig flying. I think that's a good combo. The Stig flying and Clarkson, who I imagine probably might give a slightly more opinionated view of everything. Actually, on the weather. Well, the weather. And so I think that's not a bad option. I do think I think double acts are quite. I think there's some.
Yeah, the Crankies. The Crankies, this flight crew, cabin crew. You could go there.
The Crankies. I mean, that is taking it back.
Steps. The entire. I suspect that Steps were cabin crew back when they were just before they formed Steps.
I'd quite like the idea of this is sort of a bit more of an expansion because it's not really a defined role for the as part of the flight crew. But I like the idea of just having David Blaine suspended in a box above first class or something for the entire journey.
In-flight entertainment, I suppose.
And just to remind you on
shazamming around.
Just to remind you on this flight, in addition to the in-flight connectivity we have on board the service, we also have David Blaine suspended above the. Please do not feed him or throw things at him.
Shazam! We've got a Where in the World Hill ready with the stickers. It's Kernipega.
Kernipega or K. Ernie Pega. No, it's still not working, is it? Kernipega, hey from Marseille, south of France.
Lovely.
I think that's our first in the south, actually.
Blue, ready the blue sticker.
Yeah, we're on blue today. And I think
Marseille.
I think looking at the map now, but perhaps if Becky is able to give us a bit of a zoom in of focus, we may be able to have a little review of where we are in the world with our map whilst there's a small break in the flying display here.
Yeah, we're just waiting for the Antonov 158.
We've been running this since, our very first man, Rick, in Lisbon, Radar 1, under the radar. Was the first on the board. And since then, we've really sort of built it up. Canada, the US, quite a lot. We've got pretty much all of the US covered. No one around the Seattle area. Anyone from Boeing watching today? That'll
be good.
really
Let us know. Tweet
Boeing.
in.
Expecting, probably not watching yet because it's about 6 in the morning there. But we've made advances down in Latin America there, Peru. We're very delighted to get there. There's a lot around. We're very envious of people watching in the Caribbean area.
Oh yes.
Over in Europe, of course, probably the most northerly at the moment, we think, is in Reykjavik in Iceland. Actually, the Reykjavik is made up. It's Iceland. We don't know precisely where. Most European countries, I think, when I'm looking at it, if I don't want to, I don't want to be calling out too much, but Scandinavia.
Yeah, come on.
Norway, Sweden, Finland,
Come
Denmark.
on, Norway, Sweden.
Get
involved.
Moving across.
Just some running repairs to the map here.
So we have in Africa we've got north and south and west covered. Nothing in East Africa. Maybe Ethiopia or Kenya or Tanzania. Perhaps someone there because there's some gaps there.
Zanzibar. I would like to see someone from Zanzibar.
No one from Turkey. There must be someone watching from Turkey. Russia we have 2 or 3. No one from Kazakhstan.
No one from Kazakhstan. Well, come on.
It's a big landmass when you see
That's
it.
Right. That's right. I think you're watching images of the Antonov in infrared here. Brilliant infrared camera, obviously, on the Fleur Star Sapphire 380 HD.
That might be worth a decibelometer, I wonder.
All right. Yeah. Becky, can you ready the decibelometer? Oh, here it is. Right. Let's set the decibelometer.
So for those who don't know, we've been recording the some of the aircraft that were making a bit more of noise here. We've been recording on our special decibelometer, and as the AN158 comes in, that initial turn settling out now. Not making much impact yet. We of course have the one to beat is the Su-35 up at 102.6, I think was the amount it racked up. Just ahead of the Rafale.
So that was a short one. Just a 70. Yet to break into the 80s really on the decibels. Let's hope this pass gives us a bit more. It's got a promise to it. As he powers away. No. Yeah, it's quite quiet, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a good move, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I'm impressed with that. Well,
we're seeing the Antonov for the first time in the flying display. This on day 3 of Paris. Of course, no Su-35 today, Graham. It's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah, that's disappointing. It's not disappointing. It's been one of the stars of the show. Really, everyone has loved it. People watching it. It's not only the loudest. It's one of the most exciting aircraft in the display. It flew on Monday, Tuesday. Of course, you can.
Well, it's opened up the door for the Rafale to potentially steal its thunder.
Well, it's like in the javelin or the long jump. You know, it's decided to miss out. No. I'm going to miss out 118.
I'm going to skip.
I'm going to go straight to 121.
Yeah. I like that. I like that.
It's the confidence of the Su-35. Here comes the AM-15. I wonder now, if it's coming above us now, whether this is going to make any...
Of course, if the Antonov doesn't get the decibelometer going, the Ac-130 will, which is due up next.
It's not really making any inroads beyond 82.4 at the moment. As you can see, enjoying those infrared cameras. It does look fantastic in the IR, I have to say.
Yeah, great images, those.
So remember, we're looking to you to join in on the show on several of our features today. We have the memorable flights.
Hashtag crazy flights.
Hash crazy flights, and remember that's the prize that we have.
Yep, the prize there. If you're tweeting in hash crazy flights or dropping your comment on the social stream, the best one of those at the end of the day, as judged by myself and Graham, will win a pair of tickets anywhere on the Qatar network, courtesy of our friends at Qatar Airways. So it's a great prize to win, isn't it, Graham?
Absolutely, and so any of those memorable flights, and they're anything from, maybe you flew very low, in a very unusual or old aircraft or unique aircraft. Maybe if you flew a ridiculous distance in a small aircraft, or all obstacles. A ridiculously short way in a giant aircraft. My own personal favourite. What's the emptiest flight you've been on board?
I would like to hear from anyone who's flown in a DC-3 Dakota.
Maybe flown in a DC-3 Dakota.
And of course, even if you don't win those Qatar tickets, if we fancy your entry, we'll throw a Qatar 787 model your way. We've got a few of those to give away as well.
And we're on. We're also asking today about your fantasy flight crew. So, of course, sets off from Bruce Dickinson, who's been at the show this weekend, frontman for Iron Maiden, yet started to really also a pilot and also running a aviation maintenance business.
Now, he was due to come in, but as is the way with rock stars, obviously, he decided to go off and play a gig
in Hamburg.
But there we go. But we're still running with the question. We think it's good. We had some good responses so far. A couple for Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. There's a lot of love for. There's not been much.
I was wondering about your friend Big Goran again.
Big Goran. There's a bit of tennis action.
Well, I think it'd be Goran Ivanisevic. Be quite fast with the serving. Oh, apologies for that one.
You heard this here first. So we're looking for any other flight crew suggestions that you might have, and it can be part of the onboard. It could be we haven't any baggage handlers. I wonder who you'd. So yeah.
Hulk Hogan might be good with that.
But an old favourite, I think, B.A. Baracus.
Well, he certainly ain't getting on no flight, is he?
Now, I think you can hear warming up.
It sounds like the Ac-130 has just taken to the skies. That was a loud one. We can track him on the decibelometer. Now, I think the Ac-130 has 99.8 to beat, Graham.
Good memory. You're seeing the images of the British Airways A380
as well. Yeah, we've seen
well, which
those.
is,
I like the way the logo comes out in the IR.
Yeah,
That's very, very
it's
cute.
quite impressive, isn't it? And that's next up, I believe. After, so do stay tuned. We have some of the big guns coming up now in the A400 following the A380.
That's right. Yeah. So the door is very much open to the Dassault Rafale to take the crown for today on the Wall of Sound. We've got him coming up a little bit later this afternoon, hopefully joined by our defence editor Craig Hoyle. Right, well, here comes in the Yak for its first pass. Oh, it's just getting warmed up, Graham.
96.4. I think it does need a warm up. Less the aircraft, more our decibelometer.
Right, I think we're gonna. Come on, fella, you can do it. We're on 96.4 so far, but I'm sure he'll improve. As we said earlier, I think the Sukhoi currently is on 102 point something. I can't quite remember. We got washed away in the rain last night. Oh, he's nudged up, Graham.
98.
98. So the Yak 130 trainer jets. We heard from Greg Waldron yesterday. He was telling us about that aircraft. Very exciting aircraft. Obviously trying to pitch in for the US TX contract. A valuable contract, that one. Perhaps we'll get Greg back. He was good on it.
He's very good, wasn't he?
Yeah, perhaps we'll get him back. Now, if you'd like to tweet in, we've got several tweeting. We've got several competitions, haven't we, Graham, going on at the moment on tweeting and topics du jour.
Absolutely, and and don't forget, of course, it's the last chance to win the 787 model, and you can win that.
That's right.
Simply by signing in to the FG Club to watch the coverage. You don't have to do anything more than that, but if you do that before the end of 6 o'clock today, you'll be entered into the prize draw, and we'll be drawing that tomorrow.
So after the flying display today, which wraps up around 4 o'clock, we're going to be drawing out that crazy flight winner from everyone who's contributed their thoughts and their most memorable flights. So make sure you get it in by 4 o'clock to be eligible for that Qatar Airways flights. Just checking the decibelometer. No movement on that one. Okay, we're back with the Fleur Star Sapphire in infrared again. And you can see the Yak going through its display routine.
And 98 still struggling to bring up three figures.
Yeah, it might be the humidity is putting him off his paces.
We forgot to ask Goose about the
we need to get him back.
humidity.
If anyone would know,
impact
Goose would know.
All the sound. He is a certified meteorologist. Certified in the...
We've tracked the Yak.
We tracked the Yak.
So the landing gear's down, and down comes the Yak 130. We've got that British Airways A380 to look forward to next, Graham.
Yes, A380 coming up, and that was a really standout performance over the display so far of over Monday and Tuesday. Yesterday, in particular, set against the blue sky. It looked fantastic, and drew quite a response in here.
That's right. It's a great routine anyway, but in brand new customer colours. It's a fabulous sight and something you want to see very much. Here comes the Yak over our chalet row here. So it's quite a fortuitous position in a way. Our chalet here, we're on chalet row B,
Chalet Row B.
I'm guessing.
D, B.
And we're towards the end
That's
of the
Farnborough.
runway, the flight line, and the aircraft, as they approach their landing position, they come right over the top of the Chalet Row, which is great. So we get to see certainly with the bigger aircraft like the A380, when it comes into land, we'll see that great shot. It's about as close as you get to flying aircraft when you're on the outside, I guess.
Absolutely. A quick reminder, I saw it flash up a few moments ago, A380 will be followed by the A400, and then stand by, I guess, about with plenty of other action in between then, but a little reminder, 3:30.
Don't forget that Fouga.
Don't forget the Fouga. Well, the Fouga's on after the A400, so stick around for the Fouga. But 3:30, another of the big sets, 787, followed by the Rafale, followed by the Black Hawk.
So we're just waiting for the A380 to take off, get approval to take off now. Fantastic looking aircraft, and you'll very much enjoy the display. Look out for the sharp turn as it approaches landing. Something that took us by surprise when we saw the validation flight. Very interesting manoeuvre, in addition to the A380's normal display routine. If ever you've had a chance to see one flying, it's been flying for a fair few years now. So chances are you will have got to an air show and seen one of those aircraft flying.
The A380's been in the news actually this week again. It's been a while since Airbus collected a new order for the aircraft. It has got a tentative agreement. It's not fully firm yet, but that should follow with Doric Finance. They secured that at the show, so another aircraft less are signing up for 20 of the type. So good news there for the A380. It's the sales have been slightly slower. That's the first of this year. They remain totally upbeat about that course, but that certainly adds to the momentum for the aircraft.
I have more breaking news as well. Apparently we have 5 people just joined us watching from Colombia. So welcome.
Oh, that is fantastic.
Please, viewers, that's been pulled from our metrics machine.
Yeah, excellent. So from Bogota, I'm going to guess.
The Whiz Tank. So if you're watching, which you obviously are, drop a comment in or a tweet. Let us know your name. Tell us whereabouts you are. And we'll add you to the Where in the World.
Probably the easiest way is via Twitter at @Paz_live.
That's right, and the social stream.
You can
and
comment
the
on
details on the screen at the moment, Graham, so people can pick and choose their preferred
whatever works
method.
best for you. And of course, quick reminder for anyone who's joining us, especially people who are joining us from Colombia immediately now. If you're watching. If you watch us through the FG Club, if you just sign in there, you automatically enter our free prize draw for the rather nice Boeing 787 model.
787 model donated by Boeing. It's a very nice looking model. We saw it earlier, and we're going to. You've got to be in. You've got to be in it to win it, and you've got to be in the FG Club by 6 p.m. this afternoon.
Get in the mix by 6.
Okay, so we're just waiting to enjoy that A380 flight.
Yes, I think we might maybe cut to the...
Yeah, let's just let you enjoy some of the Star Sapphire images as it
and
soaks up the atmosphere waiting for that big flight.
And stand by for the A380.
Yeah. a slight change to the scheduled flying display. Caught us slightly off the foot, so I've rapidly rustled up Stephen Trimble, who's the managing editor of our Americas office. Welcome back, Steve.
Good to be here. Thank you.
So, Steve, we've got the decibelmeter back for the Rafale. It's trying to beat 101, I think it got yesterday.
Yep.
101.6. Now that
4G turns will do it every time.
4G turns. Now, currently the record on the wall of sound is the Su-35 with it notched up 102. So we're waiting to see. This is the Rafale's chance to get up there.
Oh, look at that.
So it's looking great up there, isn't it, Steve? Great manoeuvres.
Yeah, to keep it when he bottoms out there, he's feeling 3 Gs at least. It's amazing the physical pressure that the pilot is feeling these routines. You have to be really in shape.
Now, I believe you've experienced some fast jet action, haven't you?
I had once about 6 years ago.
And what aircraft was that in?
Very well, similar actually. It was the FA-18
Okay.
Super Hornet, but not the Rafale.
I mean, what kind of Gs were you pulling when you went on that flight?
We did a lot of 4G turns. We did some 6G maneuvers. We did a barrel roll. So nothing like this, though.
No.
No, I wouldn't make it through that.
These guys must be incredibly fit to stay in control, you know, while they're putting their body under such pressure like that.
Yeah, yeah. You know, the Rafale is a very interesting aircraft, of course. It's powered by 2 M88 engines. Very good engine. A little bit less power than some of the other aircraft out there. But as you can see, it still has all the performance for the size of aircraft that the Rafale is.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very quick routine, isn't it? In that lots of fast turns, high velocity passes. The Su-35, of course, yesterday showing off its maneuverability.
Yeah, very low speed. Yeah, and it's a completely different kind of routine, but very, very impressive.
So no Su-35 today, Steve. Do you know why they've chosen to do that?
No, I haven't heard that, and that's very distressing, to be honest. I was hoping to see it.
Well, we'll hope it.
In fact, I was betting people that they would show it today, based on how much they really want to display the aircraft and get as much marketing value as possible from from the cost of just bringing it here.
Yeah.
Now, important to know about the Rafale right now is that it's still on the cusp of several major export orders. Of course, it's been on the cusp of several major export orders for almost a decade, and has had a little trouble getting the deal signed, but they've been selected by India to enter final negotiations. That was a couple of years ago, and I know they're getting closer, but still not quite there yet. They're in competition in Brazil and the UAE, so there could be more Rafale operators pretty soon around the world.
Okay, so in some of those contracts there, who are they competing against? What other aircraft platforms are we?
Generally, it's the Eurofighter Typhoon is a major competitor, especially in India right now. In Brazil, it's the Super Hornet and also the Gripen. And in the UAE, it's, well, I guess we mentioned that. In India, it was competing against several fighters, including the US F-16, the FA-18EF Super Hornet, and the MiG-35. but it actually in Brazil there's a very outside chance that it could be in competition with the Su-35. The Russians certainly want to convince the Brazilians that's a good idea, but it's not officially being considered at the moment.
Okay, yeah. So it's a really great routine. We've got a couple more manoeuvres, I think, before we come in. Oh!
Wow.
So he's really throwing together the shapes now. Great cornering coming round there, really tight.
Yeah, it's amazing just what it can do at those speeds. In the tight box that they have at the Airshow, you can only fly within 1,500 feet elevation and within a couple miles of the show itself. So they have to move very fast in that box.
Talking about speeds, I mean, what kind of speeds is this aircraft capable of?
It's more than supersonic. It's not Mach 2.
It's not Mach 2,
but it's fast enough. It's fast enough for the kinds of speeds that you find most modern air combat, occurring in.
There we go. He's doing his final sort of loop. I'm imagining he's approaching the end of his display routine now, and I mean it looks amazing in infrared, almost like a missile glowing up, showing the heat signature of that aircraft. Which perhaps is
that's just a fantastic approach.
So here it comes over the top of our Chalet Row now. Fantastic. Comes into land. So thank you very much, Steve, for stepping into the breach there and talking us through the Dassault Rafale display.
Very happy to. It was fun.
Fantastic display there, Graham.
Once again, the A380 looking sublime, I'd say. Sublime. It has a serenity in the air. Not quite in the Super Connie stakes, but it is, especially when it's doing that turn, it's quite something to see.
Absolutely. I mean, I see these aircraft quite a bit going in and out of Heathrow. We have an office in Heathrow, so I've seen the various different customer aircraft flying in and out. But it always amazes me that just the size of it in the air. It's very impressive. Some running repairs here needed on the.
On the world.
Okay, so we've got some more tweets and comments to read out here. You're telling us a reminder. You're telling us where in the world you are. You're telling us your most memorable and crazy flight experience.
Remember, there's a chance to win tickets on the Qatar Airways network. We'll be drawing that at the end of today. So
and the other topic du jour is your fantasy flight crew, and which celebrities or characters would you ideally like, and in what position on the flight crew?
I like the idea of having the two Ronnies.
Two Ronnies.
And maybe perhaps I think Ronnie Barker may be doing one of his. Says where he got the words mixed up. I'll see his speech, and I can really see Ronnie Corbett in the flight engineer seat there, turning around in that seat, and a funny thing happened to me.
Well, Cole Kenobi, hi there, Cole. Hope you're enjoying the show. Back in FGHQ. He says, unsurprisingly, knowing Colin, Han Solo and Chewie in the cockpit. Well, it's the dream team.
Tell you what, that is something, isn't it?
Britney Spears is flight attendant.
And
that's a common theme.
Yeah. Britney's got a couple of votes, and
is that Britney pigtails?
I think we'd have to be
the
whole Princess Leia hair there, wasn't it? The circles, the crop circles there. We have the papers wobbling. March Oddnet.
Yeah.
March Oddnet. Oh,
March
Oddnet from Hello from South Africa.
Wow. Whereabouts in South Africa were we?
Well, I think this time, I'm going slightly more unusual. I'm going Durban, which I think is.
Durban.
Oh, there.
So, just going to try out my linguistic skills here and say hello to all our friends in Egypt, watching in Egypt. Marhaban. I think that's how it's done.
That's a big one, and there's a big shout out for Mark Hillier's dad, who's watching in Guildford.
So we've got another where in the world here. It's Murilo Granaman. Hello from. Oh, it's got a line through it. Curitiba in Brazil. It's in Brazil.
That's our first in Brazil. Of course, the World Cup goes there.
Curitiba, you have a stab at that.
Yeah, that's.
You know it well.
Oh no! As luck would have it, I found it.
And Numan Ahmed from Islamabad in Pakistan. Your show is amazing. Thumbs up. And my celebrity crew.
I'm loving
I wasn't
this.
expecting that.
No, but it's a fabulous choice.
Emma Watson, who, if you don't know, is Hermione Granger in the Harry Potter movies, and Borat.
Sacha Baron Cohen. I love everything about that one. That is, it's the most surreal, random, but brilliant all the same. That's a fantastic option.
I'm going to try another hello for this time for our friends in Korea. Ali Yong Hasio, I think that's probably how it is. That right?
I think that's about right.
Ali Yong Hasio.
Then we have from Wheels Down via Ustream, Celebrity Crew, Chuck Yeager, Joan Collins, Neil Armstrong, and Wilbur Wright. John Collins. I said Joan Collins.
John Collins. Chuck Yeager, yeah, there would be no trouble on that flight.
Yeah, that'd be sorted.
Chuck Yeager can sort it out. He can sort everything out. So we've got Aris 420. Hi from the beautiful island of Cyprus.
That's our first in Cyprus, and that is beautiful there.
Let's go for that. Cyprus. Lovely. I put a star on that one. And the last one for now.
Hotmar 21 live. Oh, I've flown. Oh, fantastic. Hotmar 2021. I've flown in a DC-3 Dakota belonging to Air Atlantique. Crazy flight.
Yes, the DC-3 Dakota.
Dakota.
So I'm going to try another one now. Is hello in Indian is a namaste.
Namaste. Yeah,
Hello
that's
to all
good.
the friends. We've got lots of viewers in India watching at the moment. Namaste to you guys.
So we're just reminding you of the ways you can maybe get in touch with us. Whilst above us you can see the A400 going through its paces with the IR there.
Yeah, it looks great in the IR. I particularly like the way it picks out the turbo props there. It's a great routine, this. I don't know if we've seen already because I've been busy with the Where in the World map, but that high banking turn that it does is a bit of a trademark manoeuvre now. I've come to expect it, but it's very impressive every time. Oh, we might be seeing it now, Graham. Let's see. Oh, he's teasing us. Great manoeuvrability for such a large aircraft.
So I think we might just leave you with these pictures whilst the A400 finishes its run, and then we'll come back and join you.
That's right. Yeah, we've got a couple of
Set pieces.
set pieces and nuggets to show you after the. We're not going to cut out the A400 then. We'll keep showing that. We're going to complete this display, obviously, and then we'll come back and we'll introduce the next feature. It might be a treat. It might be a bit more Goobs. We can't get enough of Michael Goobish on this. He's a star. He's the star today, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
I think I might have Goobs in my fantasy crew, actually.
I think he should be.
So the A400M there, completing its display. Great sight.
And that capped a fantastic little segment of the flying display there, didn't it?
Some great stuff. Yeah. Actually, kicking off the flying display. I say flying display, but it's not quite. 12 o'clock each day, so slightly before shortly before we start streaming the Star Sapphire images has been an A320. You might be wondering why an A320 is in the flying display, and well, I would tell you that it's not. What it's actually demonstrating, it's been brought here by Safran and Honeywell, and it's demonstrating a new electric taxi system. So obviously an environmentally friendly, very efficient way of moving the aircraft around the ground.
Now, of course, if you want to know more about that aircraft, there's only one kind of person you could send to it. what better than a certified meteorologist, for example?
So here's our very own Michael Gubish as he caught up on this programme.
Electric taxiing is one of the most promising environmental technologies that can be seen at this year's Paris Airshow. Not only does it cut fuel consumption if the engines don't run on the ground, and hence emissions, but it can also cut maintenance costs because the engines have less runtime and there is no threat of foreign object ingestion into the engines when they are switched off on the ground. Honeywell and Safran, they have worked on their system over the past 2 years and now showing it for the first time here at the Airshow.
This was the first time you've seen an aircraft both maneuver forward, reverse, and turn without the use of the main engine. So a very important phase in our maturity program achieved today and throughout this week. This is just a follow-up of what the Honeywell and Safran team have been doing. We have over 13 shipsets of hardware that we're using in our maturity program, and that includes testing in Toulouse, and we've accumulated over 100 miles of aircraft testing in Toulouse. We've got 13 shipsets of hardware running on system test benches that have accumulated more than 3,000 hours of testing to date. Honeywell and Safran will continue to mature the electric green taxi system through the end of this year and target a program launch at the beginning of 2014, and we're on target to be ready to certify the system at the end of 2016.
Honeywell and Safran are aiming to bring their system into service in 2016 for both the A320 and 737. And it will be interesting to see how the market responds to this innovation. Michael Gubish, Flight Global at Paris Airshow.
The Goobs there telling us all about the A320 Safran and Honeywell project on green taxiing systems.
Yes, when he's not helping us with our weather, he's actually rather very good journalist, part of the Flight Global team, and really finger on the pulse on the all things on electric taxiing. Bizarrely, it's an area of great knowledge of his. It's great to be back on. Just sort of seeing, I can see a kind of reflection of myself and Michael in the window, and I've already noticed that we should get a before and after shot. We should get a shot of us on Monday or Sunday when we started this under the radar.
Under the radar.
We're just very pale and white.
Yeah.
We're now extremely red.
Roasted foxes was the term.
2 roasted foxes. Watch 2 men burning alive every 4 hours.
We're asking. You've been great. You're tweeting in. Apparently, we've got loads of people watching currently at the moment. So you've been tweeting in. You've been telling us where you are in the world. You've been telling us where your fantasy flight crew would be. And of course that memorable flight, which is the one that your crazy flight, and your chance to win those 2 Qatar Airways tickets anywhere in the Qatar network.
Yeah, and we've really been looking at unusual flights. We've had a lot of classic aircraft. We've had 1 or 2. Aircraft flying very unusual routes, but really anything you want. It could be memorable in quality of service, memorable in maybe a first or last flight of a particular type, a kind of landmark thing. But we've got to get your entries and comments in quickly on this, because we will be closing this one, drawing the prize
after the flying display today.
And it is those 2 a pair of return tickets on the Qatar Airways network, so well worth getting in touch.
Now it's time for the latest episode from my very own memorable flight, taking the Star Sapphire system on the Pilatus PC-12 from America to here in the Bourget. Now this particular episode, we were just getting ready for the transatlantic crossing. If anybody's done that in a light aircraft or a small aircraft, they'll know that you're supposed to suit up when you're over the water. So this is me attempting to do just that. Since my arrival in the US, I've been hearing a lot about these Gumby suits that we were supposed to wear over the North Atlantic crossing.
So over the water, single-engine aircraft will pick up a raft and cold water immersion suits out of Goose Bay and drop them off when we stop in Wick. So I'll wear the suit the whole Atlantic crossing. And it's just a large orange suit like you'd see on The Deadliest Catch or something that those guys are wearing.
We'll have to wear special survival suits from point A to point B, and they call them Gumby suits or poopy suits. So not looking forward to that because they're pretty warm, but keeps you alive in cold water when you land. If you have to land in a cold area, that's fine with me.
Ethan and Jim made putting on the suits look pretty easy, but now it was my turn. I'm doing this without any clothes?
Yeah. There you go. So you got to zipper it up.
How'd you do that with that? Is this an alien suit?
You're in. Very good.
Action. Well, there we go, Graham. The Gumby suit challenge.
So I just I'm entertaining myself watching that. Do you normally move at that speed?
Actually, I think I timed the speed by about 800% in that edit. Honestly, I was exhausted. I was talking about a sweat on. You think you're sweating now? Oh, it was absolutely exhausting. It's like the closest thing I can describe it as is trying to put on the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk's wetsuit. Even the fingers, because it's obviously designed to try and stop you getting frostbite and everything. You've just got one big thumb loop, and the rest of it is just one great big mitten. And then when you've got those in, you're trying to do zips up and Velcro straps. Oh. Anyway, a bit of fun.
Yeah, no, that was very entertaining. Still like laughing away at that. So the flying display carrying on. We're the Fuga is doing its stuff. We've been showing you that earlier in the week, and we'll probably show you a bit more of that.
Yeah, that's it's a nice display, and we'll leave you with these images while he does a bit of primitive skywriting.
We're back again a little bit, but we do remember 3:30. We're expecting 787 and a nice big finish to the finishing package to today's show. crucial thing is to. This is almost. The crucial thing is to. Mostly with the camera.
Okay.
And just keep the microphone close to the camera.
Okay.
Just a general casual chat.
All right.
That's all right. I'll leave it.
The cool board.
I will introduce you to some of this stuff we do here. It's special. Okay, do you want to count us in? Yeah, we'll bring you.
Oh.
That's fine. I think that's going to be okay. Seconds. 4, 3. Okay, and welcome back to the Flight Global's coverage of the flying display here at Paris Airshow. I'm joined by Ned Russell from our Washington DC office. I think your first time in front of the cameras of the live audience here.
Yes, my first time, Graham.
There we go. Oh, I'm knocking my headphones off. Now, above me, you can see my favourite, the Ziggy Starduster, as I called it, the Starduster plane there. But we're not got Ned here to talk about that. You saw just getting a bit ready on its preparations, the 787 there. Ned's been following a fair bit of the 787 stories, particularly around United Airlines, who's a
Yes.
key customer there. So, I mean, you were obviously 787. The aircraft was grounded for best part of 3 months or so, and you were there for the return to the skies of the United.
I was. United re-inaugurated their 787 flights on May 20th. Houston, Chicago, just one of their trunk routes between their two largest hubs. But since then, they've began international services with Denver, Tokyo, their first new international route with the 787, and they plan to return it to international service across their network by August.
Wow, and the United was a sort of prime example of an airline that had brought the, finally got its hands on the aircraft, is excitedly awaiting it, and then, I mean, and no sooner as it got it, the aircraft are out. I mean, how many aircraft had it got by the time before the grounding, I guess?
United received 6 before the grounding. Their operations were somewhat limited to that. They had to delay a few new international routes, which remain postponed at this point. But they had 6 aircraft.
Yeah.
6.
So they got 6, and you were on that first flight. Was it a regular flight or?
It was a regularly scheduled flight. There were a few other media outlets on the flight, but Jeff Smizek, CEO of United, as well as Bill McNerney, CEO of Boeing Company, were aboard. So it was a little special, but it was still a regular flight.
Because we've been talking all week. We've been talking about memorable flights. We have a special prize that's available for the craziest or maddest or most memorable flight we could find, and that's pretty impressive actually. The first United 787 flight on the way back.
Yes. It was pretty exciting. Found people were most interested in the windows during the flight. So
and presumably it's sort of regular customers on there as well. So I mean, were they? Could you sort of gauge? Were they excited? Were they worried about the? I don't know whether people were worried about.
No, there was mostly excitement. There were almost no comments about worries or anything that I heard. Everyone was just, thrilled to be on.
Now, United, of course, have also been busy at this show when it comes to the 787 because yesterday we had 787-10 and United signing up there.
Yes, United decided to take 20 of the -10. They're the North American launch customer of the aircraft. They signed up for them and are planning to use them to replace aircraft from when the deliveries begin in 2018.
And what aircraft will that?
United wouldn't comment on what aircraft they're going to replace with those. The most likelihood is the 777-200. The 777-200 is about the same size as the -10, and their oldest 777s will be about 24 years old in 2018. So, logic of deduction is that's what's going to be going out.
But we shall see. We shall see. Now, this is your Ned was part of the team in Farnborough for us, but this is your first Paris show, I think. Have you found it?
Oh, Paris is fantastic. The weather's a bit schizophrenic here, but other than that, it's been quite exciting.
The people who've been watching the live streaming have been able to watch me gradually melting in heat, it's sweltering heat here, and it's been a good one for you actually because you've been obviously we assigned different areas and beats for the various journalists to cover, and you got quite a good one because you had Embraer, which was like the big story on the first day.
Yes, being from our America's office, I got Embraer, and it's exciting. They launched their E-Jet E2, which is going to be the next generation E-Jet. SkyWest Airlines, a large regional carrier in the U.S., ordered 100 of them for regional operations in the States. ILFC, large lessor, ordered another 100 for leasing purposes. It was a great day for Embraer.
Yeah, and it's it's quite strange after having all that excitement, all the build up to it, and then it finally comes, and you get sort of 300 odd events of one form or another.
Yes.
Was there a bit of a frenzied atmosphere there, or was it relatively calm?
Yeah, it was relatively calm. Embraer, I think, had been preparing for it for quite some time, but everyone was excited to get the announcement, and there's a lot of goodwill for the new E-Jets.
We can see on the screen the Stardust doing its thing. Do you fancy any of that? Any of the aerobatic stuff?
I think I'd get a bit airsick if I did that, so I'll stay to the ground and watch it on the screen.
Excellent, Ned. Well, thanks for your time on this. You can read much more of. I'll take the microphone. That's brilliant. Excellent. And so you'll be seeing much more of this, and you can read much more about the 787 on flightglobal.com and the Embraer. Stay tuned because we're expecting the 787, which is in Air India colours, to fly very soon, and we'll be back with you then. And we'll return you to the flying display pictures now. Good stuff. How was it? It's good. It's good. Oh yeah, no. it's rather. Okay.
So another fabulous Stardust.
3, 2. Okay, and welcome back. The Ziggy Starduster doing its thing.
Sorry, I jumped in a bit too early there. Yeah, another fabulous display. The Starduster. I thought it was the 787 for a moment. I don't know what gave me that impression.
No, the 787, we had a bit of movement with the 787 there. We still not quite sure how quickly that's coming. So it's currently due at 3:30.
There has been some movement on the flying display schedule. Obviously, the Rafale flew much earlier than we were expecting it, although broadly speaking, everything else seems to be ticking along, more or less. I'm guessing maybe it's got something to do with the weather forecaster. Downwash has tweeted in, sent us a bit of a weather update. Now, our own sources indicate that there's a touch more weather on its way.
Okay.
I was just chatting with Craig Hoyle, our defence editor, who was due to go on a flight with the Saab guys this afternoon. That's been cancelled. That was 5:40. That's been cancelled. Their Met guys reckoning that even Charles de Gaulle Airport may close this evening because of such a heavy weather forecast. Now, you wouldn't think it, would you, Graham? You're looking around.
Fine so far. Obviously, Michael Gooch's DC-3 Dakota flight was also cancelled as well. So I think, again, amid a slightly meteorological concerning. So I'm not quite sure how bad it's going to be, but it's certainly, we're prepared for a wet and windy walk home.
But can the where in the world map last another day? It's just got one more that it's got to last.
Of course, we have been asking you, for those who aren't familiar, the where in the world map, we've been asking you where you're watching the programme from. And if we've
got some extra ones here. Looking down, there's a bit of a mixture. Jean Remy says hi from Rossi, Charles de Gaulle Airport.
He's put a exclamation mark after that. Have you got a weather update for us? What's it like? Are you expecting it?
Are you going to close? Let's just mark that on the map with the blue stickers today. There we go. He might be our closest yet.
We have S. Punker 3. Stick a pin in Cambridge, is that Cambridge, Massachusetts?
Cambridge, Massachusetts. Thank you very much, S. Punker 3. Third of the S. Punkers.
Yes. Well, that's the worrying thing. There is a 1 and 2.
Perhaps I've gone a bit too east there. Apologies for that.
What else have we got from our?
We've got Venu Gopal Nair says. Venu from India, looking forward to the 787 flight display.
Just as well, because it is, as we speak, just about to take off.
So that movement was an indicator of an imminent flight.
So the 787, as you can see, those pictures there.
I'm going to put him in Delhi. If I can get the sticker off. So Ned was talking through this 787 earlier, wasn't he?
So I think we might just leave.
Well, hang on, we've got a few more tweets here. We can rattle off.
Okay.
So we've got some fantasy crew.
Yes, excellent, always good.
So we're asking for your celebrity or character crew that you would like to crew your flight. We've got Matthew Hector, Felix Baumgartner as captain, the man who fell to Earth. Yuri Gagarin as co-pilot. Well, this is star-studded, isn't it?
It's really good.
D2. Megan Fox as flight attendant. Wow. Yeah.
Do you know, that is a real dream. I think people are thinking this through. They're thinking through the combinations on there. I'm absolutely loving that.
So we've got just a couple of people commenting in. Oh, Charlie F. Cohn says, how majestic the A380 is manoeuvring around Le Bourget. Great bird indeed. A great bird indeed.
When we're talking about, we've been talking about memorable flights. Fink Keedwood Think Edward. Thinker Edward.
Think
Thinker Edward.
no, thanks.
My first flight was wonderful. I was allowed the first seat and put the C-47 into a dive.
Oh, excellent.
That is impressive.
Good work. And there's a question from Madaz Ravel, who says, what camera are you using for this live footage? Well, this is the you're watching the 787 via the Fleur Systems Star Sapphire HD 380 HD. It's located on our chalet. It's a sophisticated surveillance system, normally fitted on the bottom of aircraft and used to track things on the ground. You might see it on the bottom of sort of police and homeland security type stuff. There you go, some infrared capabilities.
Sean Harrison has got in touch via the Ustream coverage. Great show watching from Baltimore, Maryland.
Baltimore. Ah, that's somewhere I've been. You've been there?
I haven't.
Oh, for once. I've beaten you.
And we've also had a weather update from Downwash, who says, rather worryingly, I hope your map is waterproof.
Well, you can tell from the condition it's in currently. In fact, it's beginning to peel away.
It's got one more day.
There's a semi-laminate, I think is the term,
Yeah.
but the semi is beginning to peel away from the paper underneath, actually.
People are joining us all the time, and we have another viewer joining us from Nigeria as we speak. Our clever software can track you down.
Have you got any idea what hello in Nigerian is?
Yeah, I wonder what. I will conjure it.
Yeah, it might come to you. It's probably in there somewhere.
It's one of those things you kind of.
Yeah.
You have to bring it together.
FYC DML says 787 is a good aircraft, but I prefer the European 350. A350.
Yeah, 350. Yeah.
Oh right. Well, we've only seen that fly once. We've on the first flight, which was streamed live by EADS.
Now I was hearing news that the A350 might have gone up on its second flight.
Which is good news if this remote possibility of seeing it tomorrow is to come true.
That was all hinged on the weather. I'm hearing that flight might now have might be taking place. We also have another more details of FSX 737-200.
He's the 737-200 fan.
Who we have a place. I don't know if we already knew he was from. I say he. It could be she. It's not clear, could it? From Australia.
Geelong. Did we do that already? Well, we'll put it up anyway. Any ideas what Geelong is?
Well, he's in Geelong. I'd like to give him a FSX 737-200 a proper welcome, as if he was in Nigeria.
Go on then, it's come back to you.
Ibolachi FSX 737-200.
Ibolachi.
I don't know where I spring it from.
Oh, we've got another one. Grum 2013.
Perth.
Graf from Perth, Western Australia.
There's a huge number of Australian viewers. I think that must have something to do with the time zone, presumably. Because
what time is it in Australia? Let us know. We're not quite sure.
I'm not sure what the time zone must be. Almost midnight. These people must be joining us back from the pub or something. I'm not quite sure.
Rolling in. It beats, I suppose, the match of the day, or it used to be the word in my day. Hyper Cardea says, great, I'm seaming in Tokyo, Japan. Well, good luck with your seaming.
I think it might be streaming.
Oh, right.
I
Okay.
think there's a,
Tokyo, fantastic. Let's
Tokyo,
put that on the map.
this. We'll show you the map after obviously seeing the 787 pictures as we speak, and we wouldn't want to take away from them. So it's getting ready, I think, for this.
Here it comes. Over the top of the chalet again.
Konnichiwa! Konnichiwa! 30 people watching in Japan.
Konnichiwa from Japan. And we've got Audi Dazhar. Apologies for these pronunciations. Hello in Greece.
Hello in Greece.
Oh, they're telling us how to say hello in Greece.
Giasas. Hang on, is that an I? Yeah. Giasas. Is that right?
I think it might be a hard G.
Oh, okay, how are you going? You're going...
Giahas.
Oh, that did sound better.
Yes.
Did sound better. Jesus.
Jesus?
Jesus. But you go, well,
Jesus. It's just gamma. It's gamma as in hard G.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Alpha,
Yeah.
beta, gamma. Fantastic. Keep these coming in. Great comments. We're loving
people
reading
joining
these
us
out.
all the time. We have someone watching our first.
Oh, yeah, Jean Remy.
From Macau.
Macau. Excellent. Do you want to mark Macau on?
So, hello, that is.
In English, yeah. Hello in English.
very,
I'm just
attempted,
gonna read out one from Jean Remy,
Oh,
who
okay.
confirms that the A350, and that's MSN 001, is currently in flight, as we suspected.
Excellent.
Macau, yeah, you were after Macau. Just if you would
Yeah,
like to
here we
do that. You're struggling there.
Oh, it's around here, isn't it? Oh, I mean, technically, it looks like I put it in the sea, but it's near there. Michael Giedrick quite rightly points out that Geelong is in Melbourne. Can you give us your best? Good day, mate. Can you give us our best? There we go. G'day, mates.
G'day, mates.
G'day, mate.
G'day, mates.
I could be on MasterChef Australia.
Now, welcome to That's
So
Amazing.
what do you put on the barbie, mate?
Shrimps on the barbie. Now, they obviously,
I've done shrimps.
obviously,
I've
as
done
as is pointed out, Australians don't actually say that. Warsaw from Claude Diziel Conrad. Warsaw, welcome. Oh, they're flooding in, Graham. Right, Warsaw, yes.
Okay, and it's time to give a big shout out, a big Jan Dobry.
Jan Dobry.
Jan Dobry.
Jan
To our friends in Poland. That's good afternoon.
Jan Dobry.
To our friends in Poland, 40 of whom just joined, including, it's going to be a toughie, Kolodzi Konrad.
Yeah, that's it. I just marked him up there from Warsaw. We've got a Fizz with a one.
Fizz.
He's watching from Trinidad and Tobago. Oh, I bet it's nice there. I bet you're not expecting to close the airport there. Trinidad and Tobago. There we go. Fantastic. Welcome.
So the 787, you saw just completing its I was going to say
Display
manoeuvres.
flight?
I want to say manoeuvres, but that's not right, is it? Completing its display.
Don't worry, Downwash. We'll fish out your crew choice. We didn't miss it. We'll make sure we read that out in due course.
So you join us back here as we leave those pictures and back to us here, and perhaps I'd call on. We've been having quite a lot of action during that on the flight during the flight on the map. I'm going to see if Becky could perhaps give us a little update on this map, and we can show zoom. And,
so it's really filling up, like Europe looking very nice now. Lots around America, and look at this. Look at the Oceania. I mean, it's fantastic.
There's great action there. Macau, Poland. We've had. Well, no, Poland isn't part of.
India looking great. Loads of stuff around the Gulf from our friends in Qatar, Japan. Fantastic. Look at that. Tweets all the time. Comments coming in.
Downwash letting us know that he thinks he missed our. We missed. Yep.
I've already. Graham, keep up. Yes, we'll fish that out, Downwash, and we'll make sure that we read it out.
So a quick reminder of some of the things we have on the go. Memorable flight. We're going to be collating them. Disco Stew is busy starting to pull all those together. We're almost getting ready to close that competition. If you remember, what's the most memorable flight? What's the strangest, the weirdest, the most sensational flight that you've had? We'd love to hear from you, but we're going to close this competition off the end of the flying display.
End of the flying display this afternoon.
And that's your last chance to win those that pair of tickets on the Qatar Airways network.
Make sure you get those ones in. Also, we're collecting your fantasy crew, #fantasy crew. That's today's topic du jour.
And you can see how to contact us on the screen.
Jolly good. So up in the air at the moment. We've got more aircraft.
The other
flying display. Sorry, go on, Graham.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say the other competition deadline we have rapidly coming into us, like a Su-35. is obviously the FG Club for the for the 787 model, which we're giving away. You have to register.
Sign into the FG Club, watch the stream on there. You may already have done that, in which case, good luck. We'll be drawing that live tomorrow, but we're cutting the time off at 6 p.m. this evening because we need to collate all the results. Want to make sure we get a fair draw there and ready the high-tech picking machine.
Drawometer.
People from Paris, people from Farmer last year. Oh, the land train! Oh no, it's not. It's the police.
It was land train.
It's the land train.
If the land train comes, I'll sing. But until then.
Yes, if you remember from Farnborough last year, very high tech in the product model prize draw machine that we had.
I'm confident of this weather at this weather front coming because it's really quite hot.
Yeah. So we're. Beautiful blue sky at the moment, incredibly hot. At 5 o'clock or around that sort of time, people are saying there's going to be more thunder and lightning. Very, very frightening. Which we saw an awful lot of this morning. Rumours abound that it may be so heavy it may cause Charles de Gaulle Airport, just to the north of us, to close. Well, fingers crossed. We're still here tomorrow.
But for now, we'll return you back to the live pictures, and we'll be back as we approach the end of the flying display. We're getting towards the latter stages, and then.
Well, we've still got a couple of special treats to come in the form of VTs from around the show. So no doubt we'll be bringing them there as well. There's a really good one of me and Graham on our fun and games.
But and of course we have the competition winning moments. But in the meantime, we'll return you to the live pictures.
Hi, welcome back. Michael Target here at the Paris Airshow with Flight Global's Paris Live. Thank you for all your comments streaming in. We'll be reading them all out in due course. Brilliant to hear from you all. Keep them coming. And coming up in a little while after this aircraft in the display is another extra 300 piloted by a French female aerobatic instructor, Katherine Maury. And we caught up with Katherine earlier today over at the Air and Space Museum here at Le Bourget, and our business aviation and general aviation editor, Kate Sarsfield, went to see what she had to say about things.
I developed my passion for flying very early because my father was a pilot. So still, since 8 years old, I wanted to be a pilot, and I just had to wait a lot. And I started flying at 14. I immediately developed a passion for aerobatic because my father instructor was an aerobatic pilot making contests. So the first thing I saw was this, aerobatic flight. And immediately I loved that, and I never stopped to like it. And then all my life was to fly aerobatic and then contest, and that's really the kind of flight I like better. To be an aerobatic pilot for a female is not more difficult than for a man, because, you know, it's not a place where you are managed to win. So we have blocked the women where it was hard, maybe, for that. So I had nothing difficult in front of me. So I just had to. It's difficult maybe to win against a man because it's human judging. So sometimes people think maybe you cannot do so well, but you cannot say. You know, it's something that the scores you don't know. You cannot decide if the judge was correct or not. But in fact, it's the best pilot are at the top and the less good are at the end. So usually it's about correct. Flying at Paris Air Show is a quite special kind of demonstration because it's a people with it's a place with a lot of people around. Everybody is afraid with trouble could have. So there is rules, very strict, and but it is also very interesting. You see the new planes, you see all the development, the future, and it's, I think, very nice to be there. My job now, when I'm not flying, because I still fly and I fly during the Paris Air Show, is to manage the Airspace Museum of Le Bourget with 100 people and a lot of beautiful collections of planes. The older maybe terminal we had in Europe, but this beginning of this century, you know, was 1937, and it's a very interesting job to make, to give life again to what happened before.
A fantastic female contributor to the industry there.
Absolutely.
And another fantastic female contributor to the industry. I'm joined by the lovely Kate Sarsfield, our BizAv and GA editor. Welcome to the show, Kate.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
It's nice to have a change of gender for once, I think. There's been a lot of suits going on.
Oh, well, exactly.
We need to mix it up.
Just a pretty shirt now, I'm afraid.
Now, what a lady with Katherine there. She was a really interesting character when we went to see her earlier, and a fantastic routine the last few days, which we're about to see as well.
I am really impressed. I hadn't met her before until this morning, and she was an inspiration, I think, to all sort of wannabe pilots. I mean, I did ask her when she first got this passion for flying, and she said when she was a tiny girl, and then she learned to fly when she was 15, and from that moment on, it just took off, and I think that's fantastic. To be able to be a pilot as a female, it's tough. And I think when Katherine broke into the market, it was probably even tougher.
Yeah.
Although she wouldn't admit to it. I think, you know, it's a tough world out there. But despite that, you know, she's won 2 world championships for female aerobatic pilots and 10 French championships. And that's a major achievement, isn't it? Really?
It's fantastic, and seeing the display that we're going to see in a few moments, you can see why. I don't know what to expect. You know, we knew we were going to see her, but I didn't know her from before the show today, and I was kind of taken aback. I suppose I was expecting someone slightly younger. I don't think that's being too harsh to say that. But she's obviously very experienced. But it's such a physically demanding, demanding role. You know, the G-force, the turns, the spins, and she must be. You know, she must be at the top of her game, even though she's been in that game for a long time.
She's definitely at the top of her game. I think there's no question. If you talk to people here and you say you've just interviewed Katherine Maury, they say, oh yes. Everyone seems to know who she is. So that is a major achievement in this industry, and a major achievement for her. But don't forget, she's not just an aerobatic pilot, of course. She is also president of the Air and Space Museum here in Le Bourget, and that in itself is a demanding role. So, you know, she flies and she is president of an amazing museum, and she works really hard, and she's been there for 3 years, and hopefully her tenure will be renewed and she'll be there for another 3 years.
Oh, it's a great museum, actually. It's the first time I've had a chance to go around it today, and there's just gem after gem after gem from every age of aviation.
Absolutely.
Whether you like your Blériot 11s or your Concords or your
Roland Garros,
Sputniks or your I mean, everything was it was great fun just being able to walk around. Obviously the museum here is open to visitors to the show, so they open up the rear entrance. You can just walk in and have a poodle around, which is it's just great, isn't it?
And we interviewed Katherine in the old departure lounge, the old terminal, and they've restored it recently, and it was an absolute gem. Didn't you think it was an absolute gem?
Yeah, it's a great looking sort of Art Deco, isn't it? Art Deco building, and inside it's very, very, very fancy. Well, what did she call it? I can't quite remember. It's the room of the 8 columns. Or something.
Hall of 8 columns. Yes, that's right. The Hall of 8 columns, and it's just when you walk in there, you're wowed. You're wowed completely by it. And I mean, can you imagine working there every day? It must be a phenomenal place to work, mustn't it? But saying that, she was saying how excited she was about flying in the Paris display. She has done it before, of course, but it's the 50th anniversary this year, and it's even more special for her and obviously for us to be here as well.
Well, I think so, and there are quite a few light aircraft in the display, but they all put on a really good display. We've got 2 extra 300s here today. The other one operated by Breitling, who have already been up today. I think we can just hear the extra 300 warming up. So hopefully, I think it's a distinctive white with red stripes on the side of the aircraft.
Well, Katherine was saying actually that she was very worried about her aircraft because she parked it under the wing of an aircraft, a large aircraft, because it's tiny, obviously, the extra, and she was worried sick that it would be flooded. And I take it wasn't flooded because
she's above us at the moment.
She's obviously flying up there now.
So there we go.
Amazing experience, though, to be up there flying.
Oh, amazing! Yeah, straight into a really steep climb there, and we see these aircraft with such a high power to weight ratio. They can be able to hang virtually in the air.
Yes, and of course, Extra is an expert in this market. I mean, it manufactures 6 aerobatic aircraft, and the 300 just being one of them. It has, I think, everything from the 200. That's the bottom of the range aircraft, right up to the 330.
The 330 XP or
yes,
something like
right.
that.
Yeah,
I think
that's right.
And
it's also developing a business aircraft actually, but I think it's specialty and it's well known for its extra.
Well, we see these aircraft in quite popular events such as the Red Bull Air Race Challenges, and where they're put into their paces in terms of speed and agility to go around courses around the world.
And just look at that! If just seeing is believing. Just being able to, in fact, one of the ladies at the museum was telling me that Katherine actually flew the Rafale as well.
Really?
With the test pilot, but she did take the controls, and that must have been a phenomenal experience for him, isn't it? And also the A380.
And also just the A380 as well. She's obviously just born to fly, isn't she?
I think she just has that in her blood, doesn't she? If you've been flying since you were 15 years old, I think you don't lose that passion, do you?
That's fantastic.
But maybe if you can fly an aircraft like this, an A380 is a doddle. It's all done for you, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm sure she's flown most aircraft types.
Well, the Extra 300, actually, if our viewers fancy flying an Extra 300, there's a display team who also tout themselves as an airline, the world's only aerobatic airline called the Blades.
Of course they do, yes.
And they're made up of ex-Red Arrows pilots.
Yes.
And so they turn up, and we've seen them at Farnborough
Yes,
before.
that's right.
Absolutely fantastic display, I must say. And our very own Disco Stu has been on up with the blades, I think.
didn't know he had.
Yeah.
I am impressed, Stu. I'm impressed. She must be loving it up there.
Oh, it's fantastic. You know, with all the crowds watching from below, it's a really good audience, you know, for them for this kind of display. And
But
she's
to do that in your part-time, to do that, so, you know, I'm working as a president of the Air and Space Museum, and then I'm going to be an aerobatic pilot. And just to go for my aircraft. I think she has 2 aircraft, I understand. This one isn't actually her aircraft, I believe.
Right.
This is a friend's aircraft.
Oh, right, okay.
So, but she does have a 300. But she hasn't brought it with her. Obviously, someone's lent them their aircraft.
Isn't that very nice? Hope they've put her on the insurance.
I'm sure they've done that.
Again, another hanging manoeuvre there in the air. The weight, so the power to weight ratio on these aircraft must be incredible.
Yes. And she's a very slight lady too. I mean, obviously, if I was up there, they'd be a bit heavier, actually. But she's a lovely, slim lady. You probably wouldn't have the same power to weight ratio if I was sitting in it. But
yeah, I mean, you can tell that she's in shape, and as she needs to be pulling the kind of G-force that she's doing here.
Definitely. I mean,
How do you, that's incredible.
she's probably having a fantastic time up there, isn't she?
Well, it's a great display. Hopefully, she'll
Something
be
you'd like to do,
performing
is it?
again. Well, I suppose so. Yeah, I'm all about life experiences, but I'm not
That's
sure.
one hell of a life experience.
I'm not sure I've got the constitution for it. That's the
No,
problem.
I don't think I have. I think you have to. Well, I think once you've done it once or twice,
Yeah,
it would be okay. But it's getting used to it and getting your stomach used to the.
that's
The
right.
loops
I
and
suppose
the
it's not
rolls
so
and the-
bad if you're in control. It's a bit like driving a car and getting car sick. You never get car sick when you drive because you know what you're going to do with the car.
Yes.
It's when you sit in the passenger seat and the back seat and you can't quite
Yes.
and you're getting thrown about. So it might be the same up there, I'm not sure.
But I'm not a thrill seeker anyway, so I've never been into bungee jumping or parachute jumping or anything like that. So I can't imagine me wanting to do that. But definitely flying a lovely light aircraft. I mean, what could be nicer, frankly? But I don't think I'd have the constitution to do what Catherine's doing right now.
And there's a bit of a breeze as well, which must be making it a little bit awkward. Here she comes, tight turn in, and then
I want to give it a little wave, actually.
then into land.
Into land.
Doesn't have to go around much.
Well done. Well done.
Very good. Well, that was fantastic. So thanks, Kate. Thanks for joining us and
Pleasure.
telling us
Thank you.
all about Katherine and the aircraft. And
My pleasure.
hope to
Thanks for having me.
hope to see you on the show again soon.
Thank you. Thanks.
So we're just seeing the extra 300 there coming into land. And you guys have been and sending in your tweets. I'll read a few out. Oh yes, Nathan Gauntlet, who's a regular from previous airshow shows. He loves the blades. The blades, whoop whoop. Yes. Dan Wash, she's a great pilot and an ex-astronaut. We didn't know that. Wow. What else have we got? Hi guys from Melbourne, from Bartlovich 1. Again from Melbourne. Hi there, welcome back. There'll be more of those tweets to come as well. Fantastic. Okay, so I think I'm going to take a short break now and leave you with the Sapphire images whilst we go and ready ourselves for the final push of the flying display and round up those comments and entries into the greatest flight experience. We've had some crackers come in recently, so most memorable flight. So if you fancy being in with a chance to win those Qatar Airways tickets, make sure you get your #crazyflights entry in as soon as possible to be in with a chance to win. Okay, enjoy these images while we do that.
No, I think we can.
Right, while we're enjoying those images of the from the FLIR camera, we'll read out some of your comments. Nathan Gartlett says, I flew with the red arrows.
Oh, wow. That would be special. We also have Rob 23232. So good they named him 23,232 times. Is the predicted bad weather coming to Ascot tomorrow?
One for the Goobs, I think.
Yeah, we'll get Goobs on that. Let's specifically ask him.
Good job, guys, says FCY DML. And we're just collating and judging the Crazy Flights entry.
And the throughout this period, we've had a whole series of you've been bringing in your where in the world, thick and fast, and we've seen people from almost everywhere, almost knocked off certainly our wish list of countries, and now we're really looking for I guess some of the stragglers, the last stragglers of countries on our map.
So we have over 18,000 viewers today. Brilliant, hey?
That's
around the world, that's not bad.
And that really is from around the world, which is brilliant. And I think it shows the enduring interest in the flying display. So some of you will no doubt have the opportunity to get flying displays here again, have been and again in the future. But if you're not able to be there this week, it's a brilliant opportunity to really get some of that flavour, especially with the IR camera there.
Yeah, absolutely. So while we wait for the entries to be collated with the Crazy Flight competition, don't forget we've been asking people about their fantasy flight crew today. Any last fantasy names for you, Graham?
You know, that's a yeah, I'm trying to think of it. I'm still working along those double acts, and I wonder about the Gallagher brothers.
The Gallagher brothers.
Gallagher brothers, I think, I don't think they could really trust in the flight deck. When they came to punches there, that would be just too much. But I think sort of both in the two aisles on a wide body, possibly fighting each other across the
yeah,
the
you'd have to put them in different cabins. One could be in charge of I would say first class, but neither of them are really classy enough. Maybe premium economy for Noel. He's slightly more respectable than Liam down in the back of the boat. Back of the boat? Back of the bus.
Trying to think who else. I think for up in the front. In fact, she used to advertise the Virgin Atlantic's first class. But I think Helen Mirren. Would give an air of sophistication and power to that.
Well, you could. There are niche streams of this. You could have a fantasy golden oldies flight crew. Yeah, Dame Judi Dench. Yeah,
Dame Judi Dench
and Helen Mirren serving the. Actually, I think that reminds me of some British Airways flight crews that I've seen over my years.
Yeah, no, I was sort of trying to think.
Norman Wisdom. Norman Wisdom on the flight deck.
Yeah, you do sort of. I was just trying to think if Tony Curtis isn't still alive, is he? That's a shame. That would have. It's the kind of thing.
A couple more comments. We've got GS Pinto says, I flew a Merlin EH101 as a passenger for 15 minutes and managed not to throw up. It was awesome.
It was awesome. There was no vomit. A vomit-free flight. Very impressive.
He didn't chunder, unlike Dave Majunda. We've got AJ Mame 51. Love the Paris Air Show. By the way, will the Dubai Air Show be aired? Well, we're not quite sure. I'm not going to rule it out. I'm not going to rule it in. We have talked to them about doing that. Logistically, it's not quite the same as here, but we'll let you know if we do. Obviously, we'll be promoting any of these kind of live shows that we do on flightglobal.com. That's the place to keep going to for information about air shows. Just Pinto, just clarifying that helicopter belonged to the Portuguese Air Force. 751 Squadron.
751.
Nathan Gauntlet commenting again. Flight Global rocks. A free air show at work.
I like that. It's a good idea. It's a good thought.
I like to think people. It's like having the test match on, isn't it? It's
Yes.
Oh, if I'm not mistaken, that would be. Is that not the Goob's DC3
I think it
Dakota?
is. Good to see the Dakota coming in.
Oh,
Fantasy. Oh, Rob 232. 232. Great fantasy crew. Madness.
The band.
Band madness. I like the idea of that.
entire bands staffing aircraft.
Because
yeah.
the saxophonist could, he could be kind of floating through, kind of, would definitely add to it.
Or if you want a slightly less edgy band, perhaps Genesis. Although I think Phil Collins and Peter Gabriel might not get on in the flight deck. Whoa. Right, we've got loads. I think we're waving at you by the Star Sapphire.
Eagle Eyed will get a rare sighting of the never seen Disco Stew and Becky.
The infrared probably showing that Graham is glowing away under this suit here.
Burning up.
Okay, brilliant. So if we could just give us a few more moments while we make the final decisions on that prize giveaway, and coming right up will be the big decision.
Big decision. inundated with
swamped. Yes. So we do appreciate you staying on to find out who's won those Qatar Airways tickets anywhere in the Qatar network for your most memorable flight experience. As you said, we've been whittling them down. It's been tough, hasn't it? Collating and going through them all and agreeing. It's been some arguments in there.
Yeah, they have. It has been hard. It's been pretty hard actually. We're quite ready for the number. So,
okay.
But we've done our best. We've done our best, and as you said, before we get to the big ticket prize, we have a couple of extra bonus prizes here.
So there's
also
for two runners-up that we think stand out as well. There's a lovely we've got 777 ER Qatar Airways models here.
777-300 ERs, yeah, and we're going to give one of those to. One that caught my eye was Jeffrey Post, who's from Shelton in Connecticut, and this is a real kind of planes, trains, and automobiles kind of experience. I can't read it all because it really is a fabulous effort. But it's about a Swiss flight from Zurich to New York, which after circling for a couple of hours around there, they got diverted to Hartford, Connecticut, landed, refueled. The various snow disasters. It'd been on the airplane for 16 hours throughout it. My favourite bit in this is there's a bit there where they're trying to get them off the aircraft in the snow everywhere, but the flight attendants would only let 5 people go down the stairs at any one time because the stairs were covered in snow. So that if the stairs collapsed or went wrong, only 5 people would be hurt at one time. I like that idea.
Damage limitation, I think that is.
So
well done, congratulations,
you,
Jeffrey. And another one we quite liked here for the second of those 777 models. This is sent in from Rob Irvin, who emails in. He says, "Hash crazy flights. Won a trip in a London traffic spotter aircraft, Piper Zenica, back in the 80s out of L Street aerodrome. Pilot asked me what my interests were, and I replied, football.
Yeah,
you do.
solid, absolutely solid.
Yeah, solid interests. We then proceeded to fly over all of the major London football stadiums at around 1,500 feet. Still got the pictures. That's my kind of flight. I would love that.
Actually,
I'm a bit of a geek at trying to spot stadiums.
Spotting the grants in the air.
Yeah.
Always tempting.
But one we both agreed stood out and really got our sort of our heartstrings.
Yeah, this is a lot of them were based on really fascinating flights and flight experiences, and we enjoyed catching all of those. This is one that we just kind of felt the pain.
Well, we wanted to reverse what was obviously a terrible experience with a positive experience with those Qatar flights, and the winner is Michael Giedrich, and he says he tweets in. He says, "My craziest flight. Realising the passenger drooling on you has taken Valium. You can't get up to pee. Your family took all your food, spent the last of your cash, and there's vomit at your feet. Hash crazy flights." Now, that does sound like an awful experience.
Absolutely.
So to make up for that, congratulations, Michael. You win those Qatar Airways tickets, and we'll be in touch with you to work out how we get those to you. And of course, those 2 lucky runners-up as well who get those models. So well done, all of you. Thank you so much for your entries. It's been brilliant. It's been great fun reading them and great fun doing the tweet in. We've still got those fantasy crew tweets to read out, and tomorrow there's an extra special prize that we're giving away, but you've got to be in it to win it today.
Yes, tomorrow, of course, our last day of the live show here, and we're going to make that an extra special one. Really looking forward to it. We've got a great prize to give away on that one as well, and we've got a great. I think we've got another great topic to hear from you, and this is one that everyone will have a view on. But we can't tell you much about that now. But we'll give you the details on that tomorrow. We'll also, of course, be looking to further complete our Where in the World. Now, this always assumes that the Where in the World map survives tonight's storm, which is expected in Paris. There's no sign of it yet, but
So we're due on at 12 again tomorrow, assuming we are still here.
Yeah,
It's worth tuning in just to find out if we are still here, if we've been swept away by those torrential rain storms that are forecast for later today.
And there'll be a bit of speculation, I guess, about A350 after it's carried out that second test flight. Don't know if Thursday's going to come too soon for it or not. We shall see. So we're looking forward to that. You, of course, keep getting in touch with us across the. You know exactly how to do it now, I'm sure. Tweets via Twitter. You can the hashtag pass.
Hashtag is PAS30. That's the Airshow hashtag.
Yeah, no.
But at PAS11, PAS_11. Not PAS_live. I don't know why I'm coming up with this 11 business. Or email us at webmaster@flightglobal.com. You can drop your comments here. Fantastic. Brilliant. Okay, so it's really time for us to pack up for another day. Tomorrow's our last day at Paris, and let's make it a cracking one. So just remains for us to say thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.